Opinions expressed on Getting to Know not reflect those of WAIF staff, Board of Trustees, or other programmers. Opinions are my own views, those of my guests, callers, and co-hosts. Hello, Cincinnati and beyond in your time zone, coming to you live. I am your co-host, J Mac, along with co-host Black Evie and the host with the most. Thanks for joining us on Getting to Know radio show powered by the Joy Air Foundation, providing information for adopting and overcoming adversity. Let's take the time to free our minds and get in to know. Mitri, let's go.
All right. It's your girl Mitri back on the mic. Been away a couple of weeks from the studio, kind of our little downtime during the year. August is our new physical kickoff of the year. So we are now going into, I believe, 4 years it is? It will be the start of it at least. I'd like to thank our loyal listeners and viewers and supporters, donors, and everything for continuing to stay on board with us. It's been a nice, long learning journey, and we're enthused about all the things we can do to help everybody that we do help. Once again, I'd like to shout out my team before we get started with the show today. Thank you, Getting to Know Core 4. I couldn't do it without y'all. We're about to be in bigger places, doing more things, bringing more people to the community and the resources. So big shout out to the Getting to Know Core 4. Y'all hold it down for me all the time. I couldn't say thank you enough to all of you. J-Mac, to you, it's okay. You can be happy when you do the intro. You can be over there like WAIF. You be like, wait.
No, that's a radio voice. It commands attention because it's deep. It's not like, wait a minute, WAIF. You know, that's more like a comical thing. When I say it like that, it's like a person that's speaking. It's like when E.F. Hutton speaks,
everybody listen.
People listen.
All right, I got you up. I approve that message.
Yeah.
Okay. Black Evie, what you want to pass on the mic before we get started?
Say it again.
Black Evie, we're going to think about, hiring a support staff for her. What would you like to bless the mic with since we've been gone for 2 weeks and this is the official kickoff for our next year's show? We in our fiscal year. What would you like to say to the people, to us?
First of all, I want to say meow meow.
Meow meow.
And I would like to say that it has definitely been a blessing and a journey to be a part of Getting to Know and see the growth and still growing and be a part of the whole process. I'm loving our new addition to Getting to Know, J-Mac.
J-Mac in the house.
The energy that he brings, the opportunities that he brings. J-Mac, hey y'all, J-Mac be making moves. Y'all, you gonna see. You gonna see. Aside from what you hear up here on the radio, the things he does for Getting to Know is phenomenal. And he's still a newbie on the team. So I'm really thankful for him joining the team and the journey and the growth process. And as Mitri stated, thank you. We wouldn't be here and still in existence, without our loyal viewers and listeners. So most of all, thank you for tuning in and listening to the messages that we have to bring.
I approve that message. Okay. All right. We'll keep it with that theme to let y'all know where we will be in the community in these upcoming weeks. Then we're going to jump into the discussion topic. Y'all can come and join us on the 3rd annual Hamilton County Veterans Appreciation Day. It's being held at the TQL Soccer Stadium downtown near the police district and Taft High School. That would be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on August the 15th. They got all kinds of giveaways. There's going to be all kinds of vendors there giving out information about resources, connectivity in the community. things to learn. It is a Veterans Appreciation Day, but the whole family is welcome to come. And if you do come, you make sure you come past that getting to know booth because we doing 2 minute shout outs. We got all kinds of gifts to give y'all, information to give y'all, stay connected in the community, and we love to hear what you got to say because y'all can teach us a little something too. So we will be there Saturday, August the 15th, 2026, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. TQL Stadium, where the third annual Hamilton County Veterans Appreciation Day will be held, and we are looking forward to it. I'll recap that a little bit at the back of the show when I go over the rest of the announcements. But as always, you can go to Get in the Know, GITK.org. You can find out all about all the stuff we talk about on the show, all the help you can get, and everything. You can even drop us a line to let us know if you need some help on the communication forum. So I wanted to spit that out there up front to let you guys know how you stay connected. I'll do a little scaled down version a little later to remind y'all too. But today, let's jump on into our topic. As we usually do, I'll start it off. Black Evie will follow up, and J Mac, he'll drop boulders on it at the end.
Yeah.
Black Evie will give him a guillotine. All right. So today's topic is Fredrick Douglass and history and facts about Fredrick Douglass. So I'm gonna start my first round by giving you guys a statement and giving you some nice little facts about what he did and when he did it. And my next time around, I'm gonna tell you my personal experience with Fredrick Douglass. Now I know a lot of y'all like you ain't even old enough to be having a personal experience with Fredrick Douglass, but he did influence my life greatly. So I'm gonna share that next round. But let's get to the statement about Fredrick Douglass and talk about some nice things that he did to help us be who we are today. Fredrick Douglass, history and facts. Fredrick Douglass was a famous American leader who escaped slavery, taught himself to read, and fought for equal rights. 5 key facts about his life include: he was self-educated, he escaped, he changed his name, he supported women, and he was famous in photography. And when I get more in that photography part, I was like, wow, I didn't even know that part, but it's coming up. So as far as the education and escape, he taught himself to read. As an enslaved child, he learned the alphabet from slaveholders' wives and then secretly traded bread with local boys for reading lessons. That is one heck of a barter and trade system. Bread. We didn't know that it taught this man how to read. Escape in disguise. He fled Maryland in 1838 using a sailor's protection papers and money given to him by Anna Murray, a black free woman he soon married, and that was his first wife. Life and activism. He changed his name. He was born Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. He took the surname Douglas from a character in a poem by Sir Walter Scott after gaining his freedom. He supported women's rights. He was the only African American man to attend the historic Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, where he strongly backed voting rights for women. And here's the one I was telling y'all earlier that I read off about the photography. In his day and reign when he was living in the 19th century, he was set for more than 160 portraits in the 19th century, making him the most photographed person, more than even Abraham Lincoln. He believed images could change public views on race. So I'm going to stop right there before I jump into my next tidbit about Fredrick Douglass. And I'm going to let y'all marinate on that. I'm going to pass that mic to Black Evie. Black Evie, you up?
Okay, I'm up. And I'm going to drop some information and tidbits about the brief history of the Fredrick Douglass school buildings. Now, the school buildings, as Mitri stated earlier, you attended the 1911, the original school building in Walnut Hills,
Yes, ma'am.
Mitri?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, so there were schools before that, but not in Walnut Hills. So the original school, in 1855, the Dangerfield Early's School, and that's the name, Early. Before the Civil War, many African Americans had settled in the Cincinnati area because, of course, as we stated before, shows before, um, once you crossed the Ohio River to Cincinnati, you were free. So the city had a separate system of colored public schools for the, colored children, and then the white schools. So at the time, Walnut Hills was a suburb. So the suburb of Walnut Hills also had a private African American school run by Dangerfield Early, and he was the minister of the first church founded in 1856. So this reverend, he created a school and a school system. Later on, in 1872, there was a school built, the Elm Street School in 1872. I feel like that is the school that my grandmother attended, if I'm not mistaken.
I
But
believe
not
you're
in
right.
1872, of course, down the line. Walnut Hills joined the city of Cincinnati in 1870. Okay, a little bit of history there.
Mm.
Cincinnati Public Schools built two segregated facilities. The Elm Street Colored School that opened in 1872, and the Spencer Center today sits on that same block. So if you're familiar with the Spencer Center, it is close to the original Elm Street school location.
Mm.
After that, in 1911, by 1910, there were too many students to fit in the Elm Street school building. So Cincinnati Public Schools built a new Fredrick Douglass School in 1911. The school served as the center for the African American community in Walnut Hills, and it continued to attract students from other neighborhoods. And in that school, this is the interesting thing. In the school, they had a 350-seat auditorium. They had a library. It was the Douglass Library, and that library, this public library for African Americans, allowed the nearby Walnut Hills branch to serve mostly for the white residents. So it was still, segregation all up in there. The school also offered basic social services. It included the lunchroom with the kitchen. And at the time, a lot of apartments in the neighborhood, they had to share bathrooms. So these kids would come to school sometimes not clean, unbathed. So the school provided showers for the boys and girls with separate attendants. And the building also had a doctor's office staffed part-time by the public health department. Just think about if we had that now in the schools. Oh my goodness.
Hello.
One-stop shop. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, because that school quickly filled up, they created a Fredrick Douglass Colony School in 1927. And that building, those colonies were located north of Gilbert Avenue. So up in that area, there was a colony of homes that were purchased to house the extra students. That's where they went to school at, that was pretty cool. They made a way for the extra students. So by 1980, the Cincinnati Public Schools tried to racially integrate its facilities with many other public schools in Walnut Hills. The 1911 buildings seem too big. So at some point in between the 60s and the 80s, the original building, school building in Walnut Hills that was built, it became too big because there were other schools that were placed around the community. So they built a new facility in 1980, and that is the one that I attended. But I do remember the remnants of the old building, the 1911 building. And by 2008, Cincinnati Public Schools built the fifth Fredrick Douglass School, still located in Walnut Hills. So I'm going to stop there and pass the mic to J-Mac, but I'll finish up some more information on that when I come back.
The end.
The end.
Okay, thank you, Black Evie. I heard somebody head roll, so I guess you pulled the rope on them on that. Since I'm do the vet part, I'm gonna do the vet part of Fredrick Douglass Military Association. Now, Fredrick Douglass never formally served as a soldier in the military, but he was a vital civilian recruiter and advocate for black troops during the Civil War in 1863. He was paid now, by the Massachusetts legislature to recruit for the 54th Massachusetts Infantry Regiment, the North's first official black military unit, aka the documentary in the movie Glory was made. That's who it was made, by the 54th Massachusetts. And he did the recruiting for him. He was paid $10 a week back then. That was a lot of money for a black man to get. Doing that, 1863. Come on now. Yeah, he was getting paid to get the color troops to want to join up, get the uniform and fight. Okay. His involvement in the military conflict encompassed several key actions now. Okay, so that's key recruiter again. Douglass utilized his newspaper, which he had two. One was the Douglass Monthly and the famously published Broadside. It was more like a one sheet paper one. The Broadside is more like an announcement. But he also had the Douglass Monthly. And in the Broadside, he famously published Men of Color to Arms. That was his slogan to recruit black soldiers. Also, his sons, both of his sons, Charles and Lewis, are among the first black men to enlist in the 54th Massachusetts. So like now, you see the things where the presidents don't want to, they want to sugarcoat it. They want the freedom and they want everybody else to fight for them, but they don't want their sons to pay the price. Yeah, I said it, and I approve that message. Okay?
I second that.
Okay, so he also was advocating for equal rights. He met directly with the president, not sent him letters, none. President Abraham Lincoln, to demand equal pay, fair treatment, and proper retaliation for captured black prisoners of war. What we now call the Geneva Convention, where they had rules for prisoners of war. Back then, they probably didn't. I don't think they fared too well when they got captured. So he advocated for that. And when black men first did join the military in the Civil War, their pay was 1/3 of that of a white soldier. And the famous quote is that when we get shot, we bleed red too.
Hello.
That came about, and they advocated for that. And somewhere along the line, they did get equal pay for that. Okay, Douglass famously argued that military service was the absolute prescription for black citizens, stating, "Once let the black man get upon his person the brass letter, which was part of the insignia, what we call the insignia now on the U.S. Uniform. Let him get an eagle on his button and a musket on his shoulder and bullets in his pocket. There is no power on earth that can deny that he has earned the right to citizenship. Now, I hate to laugh, but I'm going to tell you what it did. It scared the white man to death because they like, oh, he got a gun now. You know the saying, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun?
Hello.
That's where that's kind of where that came from back during the day. That's just a little history tidbit on the slogan. But he, let me emphasize something to you that I thought about when we were doing it. And I'm proud of the Black culture because when we do get into things, we do kind of flip the narrative. We give it a little bit more power. We give it a little bit more, give it a bigger edge, because all through history, when they did allow Black soldiers to get involved in any conflict, the tides turned. And I'm gonna give you a prime example. Then I'm turning the mic back over to Demetrius. Everybody know about the Tuskegee Airmen, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say they couldn't fly. They don't have the mathematical skills to learn how to navigate a plane in the air to use the thing. They had gotten so good at it that they was requested by bombing squads. The bombing squads would not leave the land. They would not put the plane in the air unless the Tuskegee Airmen escorted them. And guess what? They are the only unit in the history of aviation that never lost a plane.
Wow.
Now, some of them went down, but the escorts went down, but the bombers, the missions that they went on, all of them, 100% successful. Shout out to Tuskegee Airmen.
Shout out, big ups.
Back to you, Demetrius.
Oh, I'm up. You and Black Evie dropping boulders, guillotines, all types of stuff. So I'm gonna try to address some of the things that you guys touched on that really resonated with me. And I guess I'll work in reverse order. Like J-Mac just shared that Fredrick Douglass himself was not in the military, but he played a role in recruiting our Black men into the military. He had a big influence on that. What amazed me was, do you have any knowledge of why he didn't go to the military himself?
He was, well, the way it was set up back then, he was more of a value to them, drawing the men in instead of being out there. Oh. They needed like a, what you call it, a liaison or something like that. They needed somebody that could boost the morale to get these men, to fight. They wanted to fight, but they already knew what they was up against going in.
So you would say like Fredrick Douglass was like the liaison, but he was the trusted source to the Black community and an influence upon them. Like, Yeah, he was like, for the military during that Pacific time, he was like Martin Luther King to the civil rights movement. Yeah.
So they knew he was a key. Number one, he was educated.
Right.
Okay. So they could relay to him what they needed. Okay. Now, to the soldiers, a lot of them wasn't educated, but he knew how to communicate with them, what they needed to do, what was required of them, and things like that. So he became a key component to beef up that that part of the personnel to have boots on the ground.
Yeah, you make me think like mostly like he was like a translator in that role right there, because he could speak the language of the military and understand what the professional government wanted, but then he could speak the language of what they would call the layman at that time too. Whereas he was like a chameleon. He could blend in wherever he needed and speak to whomever he did with vast knowledge, a vast influence, and astronomical, priceless efforts. I mean, the man is you know what? I can't say that word on the radio. Like,
Yeah, but you have to understand now. He had the ear of the president. The president listened to him. So how do we get these guys? You know, how do we recruit? How do we get it? He got over 100,000 black men to join.
there's Abraham Lincoln, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and he was in his ear. He wasn't writing him letters. He was actually physically talking to this man. Okay, actually physically.
Face to face, like we are right now.
He's like what you call him now, the president. I don't even know what you call them now because I don't know what they doing.
Oh, yeah, right. The advisor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was a key component of recruiting. And he was getting paid to do it, so you know it must have been important because he was getting $10 a week.
Right,
man.
that's like $1,000 a week right now. Yeah.
1963. Come
They
on.
was listening. Like they say, when E.L. heard you speak, no, when Fredrick Douglass speak, everybody listen.
Yeah.
We just said that earlier, bro. Okay, so Black Evie, I'm gonna jump on you about what you talked about the schools. You still there with us?
I'm here.
All right. Then I'm gonna let you fill in wherever you want to, and then we'll go to round two. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do that, and then we'll go to round two. You ready? Okay. So, well, I want to go back to the school buildings and stuff. I'm gonna touch a little bit on that right now, because the school building that Black Evie referenced from 1911 to 1980, that was the actual first Douglass that I went to. I believe we used to call it the castle back in that day, with the natural tornado fallout shelter, the big Broadway style auditorium, gymnasium. When Black Evie was talking about the resources in the building, like when I went to the Fredrick Douglass, the 1911 to the 1981 in Walnut Hills, the big old castle, we had a dentist's office in the school. So you would go get your teeth cleaned, get your fillings, all of that stuff, right in the school. If we came to school and we had a little odor on us, like she was saying, some people lived in places where they had to share bathrooms, or they just wasn't hygienic like they needed to be, or it wasn't being taught as a child. And I'm talking about when we was in the second, third, fourth, and fifth grade. Our teachers used to smell our underarms. If we was a little musty, we get a soap and some rag, and we go take care of our business. And we had deodorant, all right there provided by the school, teaching you how to make yourself look decent. You smell good, and you wasn't bullying on nobody. It might be your day you stinky. You never know. I had a couple of them, and I had cleaned up real good. But you're going through puberty and all that stuff. So if we had those type of things in the school, like Black Evie said earlier, the children might have a different mentality about commingling, because they would understand that what you may be teasing one person for, you might be going through in the next week or two. In that school building, Fredrick Douglass Elementary, it taught me so much and brought me so much joy and resources that I could not be who I am today without it. I started off in the preschool there and went on up to the fifth grade. At the time I started off preschool to 1980, when I was 19 years old, I was in the fourth, fifth grade. We was at the old building, 1911 and 1980, the one I'm going to call the castle. And at that point, some of those years during my elementary schooling, that building, like Black Evie said, still was a segregated building. That building didn't officially become integrated, and we started seeing other colors in the school. And I'm talking about black and white and people, because it was just all black kids. And I've said this before on the show. And it was two white kids, and it was those two kids. It was a girl and her brother. I'm not gonna name no names, but other than that, the school was completely segregated. So they put forth an effort for Fredrick Douglass and integration to desegregate stuff in my lifetime, and I was a pivotal part of that in that age group, and I will share exactly what that was. But right now, Black Evie, what time is it?
Tune in to Disco World with your host, Disco Dave, as he plays various songs by various artists from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond, along with some other little surprises. So put on your dancing shoes and dance to the beat of music every Wednesday afternoon from 3 to 4. right here on WAIF 88.3 on your FM dial in Cincinnati, Ohio, or online at www.waifradio.org/listen. That's WAIF radio.org/listen. I listen to him sometime myself. I'll be like, oh man, he's getting it in. Yeah. So if you get a chance, just listen to Disco Dave. Listen to some 70s, 80s, 90s if you're in our age group. And get your groove on for an hour. This has been a PSA from WAIF 88.3 FM Cincinnati, where radio is meant to be. Back to you, Demetri.
I approve that message. And Disco Dave, give him a shout out.
Disco Dave here. Just a little tired. Just resting my eyes because I've been busy at work and all that. So that's kind of killing me a little bit. But other than that, I'm doing fine.
Yes, Disco Dave sometimes crashes our show, but right now he's crashing out because he's sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
But he perked up when he heard his name. All right, I'm going to jump back into our show. That's how we do around here. As programmers, we support and encourage one another.
Yes.
And I enjoy the friendship that we share with Disco Dave. But back to Fredrick Douglass. I was sharing that I was in the school when the school made a huge effort to become an integrated school. And I just went to the school at the right time. We, in the mid to late 70s, it started the transition of building the Douglass School that was completely integrated. But before that, in the early 70s, we were the first school in class, my kindergarten class, we was the first ones to get a foreign language in our class, in the schools all throughout Cincinnati. So that was something that was integrating, trying to give the Black community more educational resources and opportunities. In addition to being taught French from the kindergarten all the way up to the 6th grade, I learned French. They also implemented the metric system because the United States is on the imperial system. If you don't know what I'm talking about units of numbers and how we measure them. In the United States, we measure in inches, feet, and yards. And all the other countries except us, they in meters, centimeters, kilos, grams, and all of that. We had to learn the imperial system, which is the standard United States system, in addition to learning the metric system. So we had to learn two different math systems, and all of the math that you have to learn: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Then you'll eventually end up in algebra. But learning those together and learning that foreign language, I think I was blessed on being exposed to a movement in the community that followed up the Vietnam War. Because I feel like when I was talking about earlier, the Black EB, our generation, Generation X, like she said, is the one with the mouthpiece. The generations before us, they were the ones that was taught to keep stuff to themselves, and rightfully so, because it was in a whole bunch of things with trying to escape for freedom. See, slavery didn't end 400 years ago, 200 years ago, like Black EB said. It just really kind of ended in this being revamped like 55, 56, 57 years ago. And you couldn't share what's going on in your home, share how much money you was making, share your husband was there without being potentially harmfully hurt in that. And I believe for me, it was like the Vietnam War was a real pivotal part where people got tired of taking other people's you know what, no matter what color they were, and they stood up, standing out. What's that one? Woodstock, all that stuff, you know, the hippie movement, all of that thrusted Generation X to being the one with the mouthpiece, which I am part of Generation X, and I am part about the desegregation of a school system. And I can't even believe I can sit here and talk to y'all from first-hand experiences about this. You know, I went from a segregated school to an integrated school. That was the other thing I wanted to do. We were part of the first kids that were a bus system. They started busing children to our school from other neighborhoods. And then they started busing us to schools too. That's how I ended up in another school after the 5th grade to finish my French in the 6th grade. Only to start taking Spanish in the 7th to when I graduated. We'll talk about that later. But y'all can believe everybody sitting in this room that right now, and everybody and us doing this program right now, we were all alive during an active segregation period in our lives. And when I used to think about that, I didn't think about it from that point of view because I would think about slavery as complete and ultimate control. But really, they did have that. And they're trying to revamp that to this day. That's why we got to stay educated and know what past efforts helped us to get the equalities, desegregate stuff. Um, like I said, we was the first kids that had Vietnam students come to our school. We was the pilot school for that. So they integrated them over exchange students. But in that process, we had pen pals. So we was corresponding with them, and those kids we were corresponding with, they eventually 2 or 3 years later, when we like in fourth or fifth, they ended up coming to school with us in the school. And I remember my pen pal's name. His name was Darben. I can never forget that. I think I still got all my little report cards and the envelope and the little letters that he would write me. We was like in the second and third grade. It really meant a lot. I mean, I could go on and on and on about this, but I will say that Fredrick Douglass Elementary in Cincinnati, Ohio, not only did we have all those educational opportunities, desegregation, breaking down barriers, learning more information, we also got to tour the Underground Railroad. Y'all have to realize, like Black Evie said, once you cross that bridge, that water, you are now in the north. You are now free. That Underground Railroad runs up under into Harriet Beecher Stonehouse. I don't know how many times as I was at Douglas that I actually walked that Underground Railroad, and we were taught every year about that. Education was of value. It meant something. And being exposed to that and seeing that, I don't know if you can still do it now. It was phenomenal. It was priceless. I can't even put a dollar figure on it. It shaped who I am today. Like she said, we had libraries. We learned the catalog system, the Dewey Decimal System, everything. I'm getting too excited about it, so I'm going to have to pass the mic right now because we only get an hour show, but I really had to share that with you guys. You know, we are on a mode to inform ourselves because our topics coming up is empowering the ethnic community and standing our ground and getting to where we need to go. And we're not going to go backwards. So, Black Evie, it's on you.
Present. Okay. All right. You dropped some knowledge on them.
Hello.
And I'm going to keep it a little packed in a little gift box with a bow, brief here. And I'm just going to talk about some common historical milestones when it comes to the Fredrick Douglass school system as a whole, because it was not just Ohio or Cincinnati that got to partake in that educational system. He was all through the country. So there's numerous historic schools across the United States that were named in honor of the 19th century abolitionist and orator. That's a new word for me. Orator, Fredrick Douglass. Most of them originated during the Jim Crow era or post-Civil War Reconstruction as segregated public or self-help schools, serving as vital educational, social, and cultural centers for Black communities. Now, the origins, like I said, many of them began in the late 19th century, such as the 1870 in Arkansas, in 1879 in Texas, and 1883 in El Paso. So all through the nation, they were honoring Fredrick Douglass and his efforts to teach the Black children, get academics in them, because as Mitri pointed out, he really believed in that. He was a big advocate. He was a lifelong advocate, kind of like you, Mitri. But now, when it comes to the communities, there were prominent iterations like those in Cincinnati, Oklahoma City, Lexington, and Atlanta. And they offered much more than academics. They often, as I stated before, they often had public libraries, health clinics, free lunch programs, and evening spaces for the adults. They even included, it was a community thing. It was the children and the adults, because they understood that you had to take care of the family unit in order for the child to move ahead productively.
Mhm.
He tried to remove the barriers in the way of their education. And the legacy and desegregation, now many of these high and elementary schools closed or transitioned during the desegregation following the Brown versus Board of Education ruling. We're going to have a show about that, Dimitri. and
That
Jay.
part. Mhm.
Through their active alumni associations, frequently preserve their history through local markers and scholarship funds. So all of that is common historical milestones throughout the Fredrick Douglass public school systems, and they still go on to this day, and our children can still be a part of it, and they're growing and learning, and they have even better, they grow with the times. So I was checking out their website in reference to what they have to offer the children, and it's pretty. They got a lot of things that they offer the children, especially in the technology area. So when I come back, I'll highlight a few of those things. But now, the end.
All right. Jay Matt.
Okay, thank you, Blackie. You're right. I'm gonna piggyback off of that a little bit. We need to start educating our kids a little bit more better instead of feeding them these electronics and stuff and letting them babysit. We need to get them out there and see why we're where we at. This wasn't free. Why Frederick Douglass wanted black men to fight in the Civil War, he believed that soldiers, men of color could gain self-respect, self-defense skills, and undeniable justification for the rights of citizenship. Now, he was a very smart man because I read the stuff about self-defense. So that means you know how to defend yourself when they was coming after you, for other reasons besides war. You at least had a fighting chance. During the Civil War, Frederick Douglass used his statue as the most prominent African American social reformer, orator, writer, and abolitionist to recruit men of his race to volunteer for the Union Army. I learned the new word too, Black Eden. In his Men of Color arms, now or never, broadside. Now you look up his broadside. It's kind of like a flyer back during that day. They called it broadside. Douglass called on formerly enslaved men to rise up in the dignity of our manhood and show by our own rights arms that we were worthy to be free men. Douglass, who had risen to international fame after the 1845 publication of his first autobiography narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, saw the Civil War excuse me, as the golden moment for African American men to join all races of men to assert their claim to freedom and manly character. By defending their country, Douglass believed his brethren could claim America as his country and have had that claim respected as the uniformed soldiers. Black men could shed the image of powerlessness, enslaved person, and assert the rights of male citizenship that came with patriotic service. That was a mouthful because
That was.
if you give a man a chance to prove his worth and he doesn't prove his worth, then you've gone as far as you're far to be. To me, is if I'm doing that with you to a different man, I don't care really right now about his color, but I will say to a black man, if I'm trying because I've been down this road and I've finished that journey and I've succeeded in that journey, and you tell me, well, I want to be a man, and I'm giving you all the tools that I think you possibly need, and then you're still not there, I've gone as far as I've gone as far as I'm prepared to go with you. I'm gonna put it to you like that. If just like me, people have given me so much in this past. It hasn't even been a year yet. This year's been a whirlwind for me. But in order for me to grasp it, when they gave it to me, I had to take it and run with it, and through the little ups and downs, hone my skills towards that. This is what Fredrick Douglass did to black men that was enslaved. He said, look, I'm going to give you the opportunity to prove your worth. You say you worth this? Here we go. This is how we have to prove it. And of course, unfortunately, it cost them their lives. But they was willing to give their lives to prove that point. The ultimate sacrifice. Okay? So when we sit around here and we talk about they taking this away from them, they take that. No. We don't assert ourselves to give what we have earned. And the number one, that big R, respect. We've earned respect, but we don't respect ourselves enough to go out there and get it. I was just listening about the schools and stuff. And I remember back when I was going to school, and I was going to make a little joke about it, but I thought about it like, it's not a joke. But I was going to say something like, yeah, when we went to school, we walked to school in 5 miles one way. We was necking snow. We still went stuff, and we did, but it wasn't that bad. But we actually went to school, right? Because our people said you got to get educated in order to fight this fight. So that's what Fredrick Douglass did to the military. He said, "Hey, you want this dignity? You want this pride? You got to go in there and you got to put in like everybody else." So I just wanted to get that point across to people that's out there thinking that that you feel like you're privileged to have something or something because of what happened. Yes, we went through slavery. Yes, we did have a bad time. Yes, we're still having a struggle. Okay, but we still have to fight. That is the bottom line. We still have to join that army. We still have to put in, and we had the discussion before we even had the show today, and it was a good idea, and that's going to be another topic for it. But I'm very good because I can get in on this one. Because, I mean, we're always complaining and talking about we don't have this, we don't have that. That's because we don't respect ourselves enough to go out there and fight for it in the right way.
Preach.
When you're in Rome, you do what the Romans do. That's how you get what you want to have. You play the same game that is being played.
By your rules, though.
Yeah, I mean, the rules are always enhanced. That's how you get ahead. You enhance the rules. You don't take away from them. You add to them.
Hello.
Okay. So I just wanted to get that. I don't want to get because I'm getting one. I'm having one of them because she kind of hit a nerve with the education and the things that people went through to even get us educated.
Hello.
And they couldn't read. They couldn't write. But they made sure that we could. We had food to eat. We had clothes on our back. We had a place to sleep.
The suffering they went through. Right.
But now we run around here, we can't. Oh, man. I'm going to let it go. I'm thank y'all for letting me.
We run around here. And I can say this word on the radio. It's a lot of us in our ethnic community running around here like jackasses. And I didn't mean to take the mic from you like that, but you just hit a nerve on me. We can roll with this. And we only got like 11 minutes. But
yeah, and let me say this real quick to all of y'all that's out there listening past and when I was talking about the Tuskegee Airmen, I'm gonna let it go. Tuskegee University is now, they have a dress code. Okay. I thought about it. It's like, okay, you're wearing these mushroom caps to school, you're wearing slippers to school, you're wearing pajamas you're going to get educated. You're not going to take a nap.
Right. He said mushroom caps.
Whatever that thing is they put on their head. I mean, come on, man. And then you wonder why we are always looked at like we're not going in there trying to get educated so you can at least get in the game.
Preach. Like, I mean, don't become your own barrier. Like, you're revolting against something you don't need to revolt against. You need to absorb. Like, we need to have pride. Like when we was coming up, we was proud about putting on our iron clothes, our button downs, putting our pants in our our shirt in our pants with our suspenders. We wanted to look good. We didn't want to roll out of bed, slide on our shoes, and just go without washing our, what, and brushing our teeth and all that. We just exist. There's no, actually, this current generation is kind of going backwards in that area. Now, my current,
I feel like representing yourself correctly is a lost art.
hello.
And before you finish, and then I'm gonna cut loose. And this is what I want to say about that in the military. We did not fight and die for this. We didn't. We didn't fight for you to go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
This took a big sacrifice for us to get us to even where we're at as part. And I'm not taking nothing from no other ethnic group of the military. Don't get me wrong. That's not even where I'm going. But I'm saying is, are you serious? And do you want to sit? Ooh, and it's like, do you know what we had to go through back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s in the military just to get us where we could have this type of situation?
We can have this conversation without worried about somebody over here trying to lynch us or tear up something, set something on fire. Like, we fought for these liberties and these freedoms. We sitting in this conversation right now. That's why when I was reading about breaking bread, I had looked that up since we've been talking, because I remember that I just read that Fredrick Douglass traded bread to learn how to read. And then Black Evie said, we need to get at these kids. We need to be breaking some bread with them. Then J-Mac followed up with, look, we fought for this education and stand your ground so you can get where you need to go and it be fairness. Don't be your own daggone barrier. You can wear whatever clothes you want, whenever you want. Yeah, you got the freedom to do that. But in some institutions and stuff, they're going to turn you away. And I'm not telling you wearing your pajamas outside is right or wrong. I'm just telling you, in my opinion, it's ignorant. It's lazy. It devaluizes you. Like we need to teach our younger generation now self-worth. It's been a loss of that in the community, especially since we got a lot of single parent homes, babies having babies, the internet, all of this stuff where you don't really even have to get out the bed. You can roll over and hook up on your device and you can be in touch with the whole world. We need to become proud of who we are. We need to stand value on how we represent ourselves. The ROI, return on investment, equals me. You only get out of you what the heck you put in. And if you ain't putting in nothing, you ain't getting out nothing. And if you putting in garbage, that's how you getting out is garbage. So that's what we trying to say. Like I said, y'all stay tuned because we not stopping there. We're going to keep it going. We ain't going to just complain to you about something because you don't hear. The show is called Get in the Know. So we got to give you a solution to it. We got to share with you upon researches and conversating with the people that need it and see what they need so we can try to boot them up with the resource to get that. Not tell them what they need. Let us know what you need. Let us know how it will best serve you getting it. Sometimes people think they know what you need and they might have the right idea about trying to help you, but nobody's talking to you. And with this youth and young adults, they are our future leaders. So it's our responsibility to guide them. No more pajamas and mushroom hats. Okay? No more house shoes. Let's be proud of who we are. Stand for something and fall for nothing. I fought, he fought, and all the people that fought and served, we did this so we could have this liberty and freedom. Let's think about Fredrick Douglass, Martin Luther King, and all the others. I'm just naming them right now because they came to my head. But we're going to go down the list. Black history ain't no month for getting to know. Black history is a lifestyle. It's the life. It's the way we live. But we don't inhabit this earth as only the black race. We commingle with many different races. We embrace them all. But we're speaking directly to our black brothers and sisters and children because we have been black kids, adults, and we done been through the gamut between the three of us alone. Like Disco Dave, he's white. That's one of our best buddies, and he plays some hell of a music. Y'all better listen to him at 3 o'clock. He be spinning them ones and twos, boy.
He done gave it away. They would never know.
They would have never known, but now when they listen to it, they're like, what? They be like, that white boy spinning like that? Yep, that white boy is. Got me up.
Yeah.
And we love us some Disco Dave. Y'all better not mess with him.
No.
Okay?
Trouble.
That part. And you better not mess with us because he'll put you down. Okay?
Yeah.
That part. I could go on like J Mac said, but we're going to have to start wrapping it up. So I'm going to make my wrap up a reminder that join us at the 3rd annual Hamilton County Veterans Appreciation Day being held at the TQL Soccer Stadium, downtown Cincinnati, Ohio, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be all kind of resource tables there for you to pick up all kinds of gadgets, all kinds of information, all kinds of interaction. It's going to be a beautiful event. It's completely free. It's a raffle going on. Just because it's 4 days, we embrace the whole family and community coming and getting to know. We'll be there with a table. We have been invited to come to the event, so we are really looking forward to being in the event. And when you do come to our booth, we doing 2-minute shout outs. So if you want to shout out so we can play you on the radio and on the TV show, y'all remember we got the TV show that come on 3 times a week. 3 times a day, 7 days a week. We are on every day, 3 times a day on Spectrum and Alta Fiber. On the Spectrum is it's 808 and Alta Fiber is 803. So it's the public broadcast channels. So you can not only just listen to us on the radio, but you can also view us on the television. And we are present in that way. So if you do a shout out, you probably be on both shows. We have the audio and the visual version of it. We are so looking to this event. Again, Saturday, August the 15th, 2026, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the TQL Stadium. We advise you get there early because parking is going to be free, but it's going to be a lot of people there. They are expecting somewhere around 3,000 people. 3,000 people, let me say that again. And the way the stadium is set up, I'm being told that it's weather and sunproof, so you don't have to worry about getting wet or being too hot. So that's my message, and I'm sticking to it because if I start another conversation, we ain't going to get out of here on time. So one love always. Stay tuned to WAIF 88.3 FM, your community radio station. Black Evie, it's up to you.
Right. Well, I'm just going to give a short little message to everybody in reference to Fredrick Douglass School and it's the benefactors of your child attending the Fredrick Douglass School. It is parent friendly. It is focused on academics and attendance. It has neighborhood centered and partners, corporate partners that sponsor them, that support them. It is technology driven. The school has high expectations for every child. They have energetic and enthusiastic staffing, rigorous instruction, and they are, of course, student-centered. So they're the 3 keys for their success in life that they instill in the children is believe in yourself, take advantage of every opportunity, and use the power of spoken and written language to effect positive change for yourself and society. I just wanted to give y'all that. Y'all need to get all your little kids to Douglass now so they can get a real good education. Mm-hmm. Black Evie out.
All right, J-Mac, take us home.
Shout out to Black Evie and Mitri on giving me the shout out. It's been a whirlwind. It's been a joy being here, and the best is yet to come. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Thank you for listening. And my quote for today: never miss a good chance to shut up and listen.
You gotta say that again.
Never miss a good chance to shut up and listen. Be happy, get healthy, free your mind. I'm J Mac. Thank you for listening to us on WAIF 88.3 FM Cincinnati. The radio is meant to be. Peace. That was enlightening.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all fair?
Yeah, we should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thought.
Okay.
We all, yeah.
Look, we gonna need to bring back the, we gonna have to put me back on the Lysol pen.
The what?
Y'all got a Bluetooth speaker y'all can put me on?
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this old.
I will get another one.
Yeah.
I seen one that is absolutely. I think we'll get you one. You'll have one. Well, we won't be back this coming week.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, if you don't
'cause I
put
got-
somebody in, I'm pretty sure y'all got some kind of little Bluetooth speaker y'all can use.
No, I just go ahead and order one. I got one that
I
I've seen.
think the sound quality is not, it's not getting it with our speakerphones.
Okay, so we'll get it.
We need a gold speaker. We need a real live good speaker. I'm about to put you on regular speakerphone right now. Well, okay, you're on regular speakerphone.
Okay. Oh, what'd you do just then?
I took you off the Bluetooth speaker, but it would never work for the Oh damn! See, I want to take this motherfucker back.
You had it too long.
Yeah, I guess Yeah, we gotta get a Bose. We gotta get a good speaker, a good quality speaker.
Oh, okay. Hello?
Yeah, that was. Bye, YouTube, Facebook. See y'all soon. Yeah.